Welcome, everyone. Today, Neybor Consulting is walking you through the top middlemaning challenges in government contracting and exactly how to overcome them. Now, when we say middlemaning, we're talking about a specific and very common model. You win the prime contract from the government, but you subcontract out the actual performance of that work to specialized subcontractors. You are the prime. You hold the relationship with the agency. You are responsible for delivery, but the hands doing the work belong to your subs. This is a powerful model and a challenging one. Let's get into it. Let's be precise about what we mean. The middleman in government contracting is the prime contractor. You won the contract. The government agency knows you, pays you, and holds you accountable. But beneath you, subcontractors are doing the actual performance. You capture a margin between what the government pays and what the subs cost. The critical point, and this is what makes this model uniquely challenging, is that you own all the risk. If your sub fails, you fail. If your sub violates a FAR clause, you are liable. The subs execute. You are responsible. That accountability gap is at the heart of every challenge we're going to cover. Here's the scale of the opportunity. The federal government spends over $750 billion annually on contracts. About 40% of that work ends up being performed by subcontractors. As a middleman prime, you're positioned to capture that flow, winning prime awards, then deploying subs to execute. That's a legitimate, scalable business. But to do it profitably, you must navigate 8 specific challenges that we'll walk through now. Here are the 8 core challenges every middleman prime contractor must navigate. Some relate to how you win contracts without being the performer. Others relate to your legal obligations as the prime, and several deal with the sub-relationship itself, managing their performance, protecting your margin, and making sure you're not cut out of the picture when contracts renew. We're going to go through each one with real examples and actionable solutions. Challenge 1. How do you win a prime contract when your subs are actually doing the work? Agencies evaluate you, your capability statement, your past performance, your technical approach. All of this needs to hold up. Here's how. First, build a prime-level capability statement that emphasizes your management capability, oversight processes, and delivery track record, not just your subs' resumes. Second, use FAR 15.305 to formally cite your key subs' past performance as part of your proposal. And third, pursue certifications early, 8A, HubZone, WOSB. Because your set-aside status often is the reason the agency picks you, and your management role is your genuine value add. Challenge 2 is one of the most dangerous regulations for any middleman prime, and the one most people have never heard of. It's called the ostensible subcontractor rule. Under 13 CFR 121.103H4, if the SBA determines that your subcontractor is actually the one doing the primary and vital work on a small business set-aside contract, they can rule you ineligible, even after award. That means you could lose the contract, be subject to sanctions, and be debarred from future awards. The 6 red flags on the left are what the SBA looks for. The 5 protections on the right are how you stay safe. The single most important protection: your people must manage the contract. Your sub executes. You lead. Challenge 3. Your sub fails. You pay the price. The government's contract is with you. When your sub misses a deadline, the contracting officer calls your project manager. When your sub does shoddy work, the CPAR's rating goes on your record. This makes sub-selection and vetting not just a business decision, but a reputational one. The left side gives you a due diligence checklist for every sub before you sign anything. The right side shows the protective contract provisions you must build into every subcontract, starting with the right to cure and terminate, and flowing down any liquidated damages directly to the responsible sub. Challenge 4 is about what happens after you win. You are now the prime of record. The government holds you accountable for every deliverable your sub touches. The challenge: you have accountability without direct authority. Subs aren't your employees. You manage by contract. So your 3 management pillars are govern, set up formal kickoff, reporting cadences, and shared project trackers from day 1. Monitor. Run active Q&A oversight on sub-deliverables before the government sees them. And respond. Have a bench of pre-vetted backup subs for every major work area, and communicate early with the CO if problems arise. Early transparency always beats late crisis management. Challenge 5 is cash flow, and it hits middleman primes particularly hard. Look at this squeeze. Your sub delivers work and invoices you. You're contractually on the hook to pay them in 30 to 45 days. But the government might not pay you for 60 to 90 days. As the prime, you're personally bridging that gap. Our four solutions. 1. Negotiate net 45 to net 60 payment terms into your subcontract so you have a buffer. 2. Use government contract invoice factoring to get cash advances on your receivables. 3. Request progress payments on larger contracts under FAR 52.232-16. And 4. Never start a contract without a 90-day operating reserve. Your cash reserve is your business survival insurance. Challenge 6 is compliance. And as the prime, every single FAR obligation belongs to you. Everyone. Your sub's wage violations are your violations. Your sub's cybersecurity failures are your failures. Your sub SAM. GovLapse is your problem. 6 compliance areas you must actively manage. FAR flow-down clauses. Identify and include every required clause in your subcontract. Service Contract Act or Davis-Bacon, obtain the right wage determination and flow it down. Your small business subcontracting plan, you must report progress semi-annually. CMMC and cybersecurity for DoD work, verify your subs are compliant, not just yourself. SAM, .gov registration, build verification into your process. And DCAA audit exposure, maintain complete sub-documentation in case you get audited. Challenge 7 is margin compression. This pie chart shows the typical breakdown. Subs take about 72 cents of every dollar you're paid. You keep 10 to 12 cents in overhead and the rest in profit, if you've priced it right. The squeeze happens when you price too low to win or when your sub costs come in higher than expected. 5 protection strategies. Bid on cost plus or T&M vehicles where possible. Lock in your sub rates in writing before you submit any proposal. Never price on estimated rates. Price using fully burdened labor rates that already include your margin. Build economic price adjustment clauses into multi-year contracts. And invest in sub-onboarding efficiency. The less time you spend firefighting, the higher your effective margin. Challenge 8 is the existential one. Your sub cuts you out at recompete. It happens in 4 predictable stages. You win and they execute. They build deep agency familiarity over time. Recompete arrives and they bid directly, using the past performance they earned on your contract, and you lose your position with no legal recourse if your subcontract didn't protect you. 5 countermeasures include a non-compete clause in every subcontract, minimum 2 years after contract end. Own the agency relationship personally. Your employees lead all government interactions, not your subs. Strategically manage which sub-personnel get face time with the agency. Register on IDIQs independently so you have your own pathways at recompete. And diversify your sub pool so no single sub becomes irreplaceable or dangerous. Here's the Neybor framework. All 8 challenges map to 8 disciplines for mastering the middleman prime model. Win, qualify, and credential yourself for prime awards. Protect. Stay compliant with the ostensible subcontractor rule through active prime involvement. Vet every sub rigorously before you sign. Manage. Govern and monitor performance through formal processes. Fund control cash flow proactively with the right financial tools. Own every compliance obligation as the prime of record. Price. Protect your margin through disciplined pricing strategy. And own the agency relationship and contractually prevent sub-bypass. This is the complete system. Let me tell you about James. He won his first prime contract as an SDVOSB, $1.2 million on a DoD support contract. His plan: subcontract 80% of the work to a staffing firm. Smart model. But his attorney caught 3 red flags: ostensible sub-exposure, no non-compete clause, and a dangerously thin margin. Neybor helped him restructure his delivery model so HISPM led all government interactions. We added a 24-month non-compete to the subcontract. We repriced using fully burdened rates and pushed for T&M option years, raising his effective margin from 6% to 14%. We built a compliance calendar. 3 years later, $4.8 million in prime contract value, exceptional CPARS ratings, his sub attempted to go direct at recompete, the non-compete held, and James re-won the follow-on contract. That's what discipline looks like. Let's land the plane. 6 key takeaways. 1. As the middleman prime, you own all accountability. Own it with pride and discipline. 2. The ostensible subcontractor rule is a serious legal trap. Document your prime management involvement from day one. 3. Subselection is a business-critical decision with real reputational consequences. Never skip due diligence. 4. Cash flow requires proactive management. The pay gap is real and predictable. Plan for it. 5. Every FAR compliance obligation is yours, not just your subs. Own that responsibility. And 6. Protect your prime position contractually and relationally. Non-competes and owned agency relationships are your competitive moat. Now let me show you how Neybor can help you build this systematically. You don't have to navigate the middleman prime model alone. Neybor Consulting has helped prime contractors across the country build structured, compliant, and profitable government contracting businesses, from their very first prime award to multi-million-dollar contract portfolios. We help with proposal strategy, the ostensible subcontractor rule, subcontract drafting, certifications, sub-vetting, and pricing. Visit Neybor Consulting. Come right now and book a free strategy consultation. The middleman model works when it's built right. Let Neybor help you build it right. Thank you.